Okay. Test. Okay, we're good. Here goes noise. Yeah, live, please. Cool. All right. Well, we're gonna just go ahead and pop that off. Pop that off. Why are you pausing over here for some reason? All right. Okay. Yeah. So I've got another stream. We're here to stream some more and do something. So part of this is, if I'm looking this way, it's because I will show you. I might as well just show you. I do have my phone on a stand beside me that has all of the chat and everything on it. So if I'm looking this way, it's because I'm looking at the chat and everything. So I don't often get a chance to really stream the way that I kind of want to, or I feel like it. So I'm taking time to stream to do something. It's also an excuse to enjoy something that I just bought today. So I did stop by a local grocery store to assist my wife with a couple groceries that she needed on my way home. Right beside it is a liquor store that's the same brand of the grocery store, but the liquor store is separate from the grocery store because they don't want kids to just walk into the liquor aisle, basically, because it's not okay for kids to walk into liquor stores. So I put the groceries back in the car and then I walked into the liquor store. So just a little bit of story time for those of you who don't know. One of the things that me and my wife like to do is kind of tour very small local distilleries for different liquors, wine as well, but we do, that's vineyards, and vineyards are like something that we don't do as often as the distilleries. So I live in Central Florida. There is a distillery in Central Florida that makes a local brand. It's called P1 Vodka. It was actually started by people who graduated from the University of Central Florida, which is awesome because I have tried to find a local distillery for ages now, and I haven't been able to find one. The closest distillery, right off the top of my head, is in New Smyrna Beach. It's called Sugarworks. There's actually a couple bottles of Sugarworks sitting over in the liquor cabinet on the other side of you guys right now. I've purchased a blueberry moonshine from them. I've purchased their cinnamon bite whiskey, which is like a lesser Fireball. It's not as spicy as Fireball is. It's way more smoother, which is pretty nice. So those are two things that I bought from Sugarworks. That's the closest one to me, and it's still about an hour and a half away. South of us, if we want to drive about 3-ish hours, there is a distillery in Tampa. There's actually multiple distilleries in Tampa, but the one that I know definitively is Steel Cable Tide Company, I believe is the name of it, which is kind of, sometimes it's hard for me to put those words together. And I've actually bought quite a few bottles specifically from them. So, hey Pookie, I've bought a. I ended up buying a habanero vodka from them. which is actually pretty good. Like, it's crazy to think that habanero and vodka, but they go pretty well together. A lot of times in the cocktails that I drink it with, it's adding a little bit of heat to it, which is fantastic. So I've always liked that. Only responsibly, please. I also have from Steel Table Tide Company sitting in there, though I did not drink most of it. A black rum. So my cousin ended up drinking most of that while we were on vacation up north. But it was a fantastic black rum. It had some beautiful coffee chocolate notes to it, so it was fantastic. I just found out from that store that I went to that I can actually purchase that here, so that's kind of nice. I'd still like to go back to Tampa to purchase it from them, but that's pretty far of a drive just to buy a bottle of liquor. Um, Anyhow, all of that is to say that I really enjoy buying local distilled brands of liquor because a lot of times small batch liquor is more innovative, it's more unique. They kind of experiment with their flavors a little bit more. So I walked into this local liquor store it's still pretty um, franchised, if you will. I have not decided what gun I'm going to make. I might work on the Barrett Imradler because that's brand new. Speaking of the Imrads up at the top, and then the M107s right below it. Well, M107A2. But I might work on that. But I have a couple other things that I might work on as well. Anyhow, I walked into this local franchised liquor store. I walked up and down the vodka aisle for ages looking for P1 vodka because that's here in Central Florida. And is distilled here in Central Florida. And the attendant actually came over and asked if she could help me find something. And I asked specifically for P1 vodka. And she said that they actually discontinued it on their shelf when they renovated the store, which kind of sucks because I was really looking forward to trying to find that. And then she recommended me another brand. I have it right beside me. Just going to make sure I'm in frame for you guys. This is Luxus. So she did say that this was a local brand, which is part of the reason that I bought it. The problem is I didn't exactly read where it was from. I could have sworn it was from Florida, but it says produced and bottled by Luxus Brands, Princeton, Minnesota. Distilled from grain. Which kind of disappoints me a little bit because I wouldn't have bought it if I knew it wasn't local. But that's okay. So I just cracked this open to give it a taste before I started to stream to see like what it actually tasted like. If you've ever cracked open a bottle of Purex and smelt what Purex is like, that's this. This is Purex. It smells uncannily familiar to just straight Purex, which is crazy. The good news is that since it is flavorless, colorless, straight alcohol, essentially distilled from grain, it will never expire, which is fantastic. So I have already drank a portion of this to taste what this tastes like. It's not bad. It is definitely something that I will mix with other things. But for tonight, we'll be drinking it straight. And then I'll be chasing it with Mountain Dew. Because, of course, the official drink sponsor of the channel will forever be Pepsi. I'm not officially endorsed by Pepsi. I wish I was, but I'm not, unfortunately. So I'm going to be sipping on this most of the night until my wife inevitably ends up coming home. And then hopefully it'll be gone by then. And then we'll go from there. If I want to maybe get more or not, I'm not entirely sure. We'll just see how the night goes. It's still early, of course. Shit. Studio's updating. So I think I started recording the Barrett Imradler for a live build Let's go to improvements. Flexible system improved. LXFML 5.6 included in the IO file structure. That's cool. Re-enabled no color brick palette. Okay. Stream's going to be as long as my wife is not home. When my wife gets home, I'm probably going to end streaming. I do not like to stream when other people are around. I hate it a lot. When other people are around, I don't talk. Now, of course, I've never streamed tipsy, buzzed, or drunk before entirely, I should say, because I have streamed drinking before, but I've never streamed drinking straight like this. This is literally straight. So this isn't a lot, to be honest with you guys. It is a lot, don't get me wrong, but it's not a lot for me. I don't know what this is going to do to me yet. That vodka is 80 proof, which is like, it's not like the worst thing in the world. It is watered down still, but at some point I might just get so loosey-goosey that I'm no longer like caring that other people are around me, and I might continue to stream after she's here. I just don't know yet. Let's find the HK512 that I was working on. I'll answer your question in a moment, Lord Soul. Let me get a drink of this. So, on top of the tongue, this is fantastic. And then it burns just back here. And it's a very consistent burn, but it's still pretty decent. Which is just, it's weird because it's just straight vodka. And oftentimes we don't drink, vodka straight. Vodka usually gets mixed with other things. So, New Year plans as they stand right now. I have a couple places that I want to go, family, friends related, that I'm looking forward to going to. Unfortunately, I do work a job where I am. Why is this not opening? Am I? So we're just going to quit out of studio. I work a job where I'm continuously on call through a week at a time. I got Thanksgiving this year, so I was already on call for Thanksgiving this year. And I luckily avoided Christmas, which is fantastic because that's this week. Technically, for us, our weeks are a little different when it gets around to holidays. We're just going to come up here and force quit, please. Studio, please. Force quit. Okay. Force quit. Thank you. So I did get New Year's specifically for being on call. Which sucks because basically I can go to these parties that I have planned with family or friends, either or for what we're going for. And at any point in time, I can get a phone call to come to work. So I have accepted a position as of late to a managerial role to avoid having to go out as much as I do. But in stepping up to another position, I now have to mentor a lot of the new guys. So when I am on what we call standby, which is this 1 week at a time that I'm on call, all the calls get routed through me from emergency dispatch. And since they get routed through me from emergency dispatch, I have to give them to the new guys. And if the new guys don't know what they're doing in the field itself, I have to step in and try to guide them through it. Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. It really depends on who's kind of out there, really. And it's okay, but you know, hey, what's going on, Jose? One of these that makes it way easier. So New Year's plans. As far as I know, I was supposed to be doing something with Kenyana and then Ronnie, and I think you might be a part of that. I'm not entirely sure, to be honest with you. And if that wasn't New Year's, then it was 4th of July. I just know that we were doing something with like fireworks or something. So this makes the situation like way easier to explain. I'm supposed to be doing something with you guys, but at the same time, that could change in a heartbeat with what I do for a living. So I don't really like taking emergency standby, but it's a part of the job requirement at this point. Like I could always give it up to other people, but I like to take my standbys. We have a release date revealed, coming to PC and mobile January 31st, 2024. One Punch Man the World. We have a policy in place that if people don't take their standby week for whatever reason, like they're out sick or something, we have this thing called a randomizer that randomly picks people to take it for them. And it's pretty shit to just like not be on standby and then all of a sudden be on standby. And it sucks. So to avoid being on the randomizer is pretty simple. You just take weeks of standby. So if you're on the week, you can't get randomized. If you're already on, you can't get randomized. If you're on the week after, you can't get randomized. And if you're on the week before, you can't get randomized. And if you've already been picked by the randomizer in the rotation, you can't be on again. Which is easy. Basically, just fucking take your weeks of standby, which is why I take my weeks of standby so that I can't be randomized randomly. Because I would rather know when I'm going to be on standby than have to call Kenyana and tell her that I'm on standby. Because there's just, it sucks when you have that happen. Because all those plans that you had no longer count, essentially, when you're now on standby. I should be out with you guys. That's the goal, is to come out with you guys. I just don't know if it's going to work or not with how standby works for me. I hope it does, but you never know. So since I know you're officially 21, I don't mind talking about this with you. What's your preferred alcohol of choice? Odd question, but I'm going to ask you this. Ronnie did say something because he found Kenyana at a club that she went to not too long ago. So I know he reached out. So we have had, like, me and him specifically have had like one text conversation since that night, and it was about shit, like literal shit. So, and the Catholic Church got involved in there somehow. I forget how they got involved, but they were in there. I think this is definitely a mixing vodka. Definitely something that should be mixed with other things. it's not like super terrible. It's very smooth, especially on the tongue. It's very smooth, but when it gets to here, it burns. And so this burns probably more than the habanero vodka I have does, which is crazy. You would think that the habanero, considering it's a fucking habanero, would, but it really doesn't. Which is almost like mind-blowing. So we're gonna build basically a bridge over this barrel to mount a PEC box to. Probably gonna mount a PEC 16 up here with this. Towards rum. Rum is good. I'm okay with rum. Like I was saying previously, there's a distillery down in Tampa, Steel Table Tie Company. Steel Cable Tie Company. I don't know why I say table. I say table so much. That makes a fantastic black rum. It's the same place that I got the habanero vodka from. Rum is fine. I don't mind rum. I guess it really just depends on what I'm drinking at the time, right? So I am by no means someone who likes whiskey. Like, whiskey is so far out of my realm of want. I have been trying lately a lot of old fashions, but that was like, old fashions are still not exactly like the greatest measurement for how good a whiskey is, because old fashions still have other ingredients in them. Yeah. She came home and was like, yeah, so I kind of passed by him and looked at him weird and thought it might be him, but didn't know, so I didn't want to like say anything. And then inevitably, like, she finally realized that it was him and then finally said something. So it's crazy because that same night, one of my ex-coworkers sent me a text that said, guess who I found? And it was her and Kenyana that took a picture together. So just randomly, without any planning, at this one place was Ronnie, who we haven't talked to in like, I don't know, like 4 or 5 years. And one of my ex-coworkers, which is crazy. So I say ex-coworker, but she still works with me. She just works in a different division than I do. So I guess it's more like, how would you describe that? Acquaintance? No, because acquaintance is like, you just know them somehow, right? It's not really like, I don't know. She moved to a different division, a different department. Cherry orange, 2 flavors that go together surprisingly well. Didn't think it would when I first opened it, but it's pretty good, to be honest with you guys. Mountain Dew nailed it on that particular flavor. They did okay with their Halloween special. In other news, unfortunately, I found out that they will be discontinuing my favorite flavor by leagues and bounds. So favorite flavor is fucking green apple. Man, I forget the name of it. There's a specific name for the green apple flavor. Fuck. Something apple. I think it's like crushed apple or something. But they'll be discontinuing it, which, like I said, just really sucks because that was my favorite flavor. But I kind of think I know why they discontinued it. So it just kind of seems like they kind of have to, because it was a Kroger exclusive flavor. Like, who's going to specifically go to Kroger to buy just green apple Mountain Dew? My friends bought me the Matthew Lillard D&D whiskey for Christmas. I do not know who Matthew Lillard is. I hope it's good. Please do not jump up here. Please do not knock over my vodka. I would really appreciate it if you don't. Okay. Thank you. Please lay down. She just like completely derailed where I was going with that. Yeah, no, I do not know who Matthew Lillard is. I'm hoping that the whiskey's actually good. So the hard thing about whiskey is whether or not it's good or not, right? I've tried a few small batch whiskeys, and I've tried a few major brand whiskeys, right? So I don't think I have the bottle beside me anymore, but I had Crown, just straight Crown, right beside me for a long time. I've had that bottle since my 21st birthday, and I'm 26 now. So it took me 5 years to finish one bottle of Crown. And that's with help from other people, and that was with mixing it, because I mixed it a lot. I mixed it with basically Coke or Pepsi, like the entire fucking time I've had it. I have, sitting in the cabinet right now, St. Augustine has a distillery as well. That's also just a little north of us, for those of you who aren't in Florida. That's about a 2-hour drive for us. They have a whiskey, a small batch whiskey that they make, and when me and Kenyana got married and we had our honeymoon, we did it in St. Augustine, and to commemorate it, we bought a bottle of whiskey after we tasted it in their tasting room. That whiskey that we tasted is fantastic, but I refuse to open the bottle. We're not going to open the bottle until one of our milestones. So, like during one of our wedding anniversaries, we'll open it, but that'll be like a major milestone, so that we can taste that again. So that bottle is special. I won't be opening that anytime soon. Vodka is a very good neutral spirit for just about any concoction you can think of. As long as the Tito's you have is flavorless, you can put it in just about anything and everything that you feel like, right? So the benefit of something like this down here at the bottom that says it's been 5 times distilled or 7 times distilled or something like that is that this is just going to be alcohol, right? I said at the beginning of stream, and I don't think you were here for it, that when you pop this bottle open, this smells like Purex. It is nothing but straight alcohol in this bottle that's been watered down to 80 proof according to this label, right? Which is 40% alcohol by volume, right? So essentially 40% of this 1.75 liters is alcohol. So 1 3/4 divided by 2 is like 75.75, 0.8. I don't fucking know. But if you take 1.75 and you divide it basically by 2, essentially half of this bottle is liquor, straight alcohol, right? And then the other half is water. Something like that is good for mixing into a variety of basically anything. There are people out there that mix vodka with Coke and rum. Like, that's actually a very popular drink in a lot of places. You can mix it in Mountain Dew. I You just saw me. I have citrus cherry Mountain Dew Gamer Fuel, essentially. Yeah, Game Fuel. I'm chasing the current vodka that I'm drinking with this. I could pour this into that vodka and it would be fine. Sorry, that just blew out fucking someone's eardrums. Um, Vodka is just a good mixing spirit in general because it is flavorless. It's just alcohol. So if you're looking to mix it into something, vodka is a good choice. If you take a look at most of the cocktails that are out there, vodka is one of the main ingredients for most of the cocktails for mixing, right? Because you're just taking alcohol and you're dressing it up as a cocktail. Yeah, we are getting old, man. It sucks to think about all the time. If you look at rum, spiced rum, black rum aren't really used in a lot of like cocktails. So when I say that, I don't mean a specialty cocktail that you can get from a bar, right? I mean, when you sit down at a restaurant that serves liquor because they have a liquor license, there's a strong chance that they're not going to carry a spiced rum or a black rum drink. They'll have white rum on there because white rum goes in just about anything and everything. They'll definitely have a lot of vodka on there. They're going to have tequila on there because tequila goes in just about anything and everything. And then every once in a while, you'll find like a couple whiskey drinks. But most of the whiskey drinks are going to be along the lines of an old-fashioned, a Long Island iced tea, or maybe like a more kind of out there whiskey drink with a couple like higher end ingredients in it because whiskey is higher end in quotation marks. And that's for like standard restaurants that you sit at, right? But if you look at the actual cocktail list, most of it's going to be mixed with vodka. I promise. And even then, a lot of it will probably be flavored vodka. So like something that's come into a lot of places now is Deep Eddies and Tito's. Because Deep Eddies and Tito's both carry that American label beside them. And that matters to a lot of people. So they kind of have that benefit of being there. Yeah, no, it won't. No, that's kind of the benefit of getting flavorless things is that it doesn't expire. Um, if you take a look into the history of why people make a lot of alcohol in the first place, like a long time ago, it's because they had a surplus of crops. So a lot of the grain alcohol that we consume now was because they had a surplus of crops that weren't selling. No one's looking to buy them. Demand is low. You don't want to waste it. You don't want it to just go bad. So you need to make it into something that's going to last for an extended period of time because at that time they didn't have really good refrigerators. Like you didn't have a refrigerator in the living room that you just walked into. You just had a shelf. So you needed you needed a product to take that grain and turn it into that was going to last you for an extended amount of time. And then you'd be able to barter, trade, or sell it whenever you got an option to so that you could kind of recoup some of the money of that harvest going to waste, right? And then boom, you get whiskey, brandy, vodka. Yes, hi. Most of what we would consider clear liquors came about from this crop is going to go bad or I can't sell it. I need to do something with it. What do I do? I know. I'll make alcohol. Alcohol can sit on a shelf for a very extended period of time and people will still buy it because it's alcohol. It's not going to go bad. Now, if you take fruit and you make a brandy out of it, and a lot of people will take the fruit and put it in the brandy because part of the joy of having a brandy is eating the fruit out of it that's been infused with the alcohol, that will go bad because it has something in it that will rot, right? Most of the other stuff's not going to go bad. And that's kind of how this started, like, for a while. I don't know. Alcohol has a lot of really interesting history behind it. It's just kind of neat. So part of the reason that I really like to go to local distilleries is because a lot of times it'll be made with like local ingredients, and you'll get different tastes of the country based off of those distilleries, right? So St. Augustine's rum is going to be entirely different than the rum they serve down in Tampa, right? Actually, I have a good example of this. When we were in St. Augustine and we did their whole taste tour in their distillery for our honeymoon, they gave us gin, uh, a rum, and then their whiskey. And we ended up buying a bottle of their whiskey and then a pack that had their hibiscus mixer in it, and then a pack of gin and a pack of rum, or a pack of vodka. I didn't buy any rum for them yet, though the rum was fantastic. Their gin is made with botanicals and citrus specific to St. Augustine, right? When we went to Port Canaveral for Memorial Day, there is a distillery in Port Canaveral that also serves a gin. I can't remember the name of the distillery. I want to say it's literally like Port Canaveral Distillery or something like that. Like it wasn't something super high end. Their gin compared to St. Augustine's gin is a completely different flavor profile, even though they're both gin, because of the regions there, right? So where St. Augustine sources most of their local ingredients, and then Port Canaveral sources most of their ingredients, is, I would go to say, maybe a 6 or 7 hour difference in distance, but they taste entirely different. And so that's part of the reason I really like to go to some of these other places and find things. I'll be going back up to Charlotte and next year for the drag races. There is a distillery around there. This will be the fourth or fifth time that I'm going up there, and out of all those times, I have not gone to this one distillery. And I really want to go. So I take a look at their menu all the time. Something on their menu is pickle vodka. And I have wanted to try this thing so much. And there's a very strong chance that I'm going to buy a bottle of it while we're up there. I think it would just be fantastic. I really do. I really just want to grab a bottle of that. I love pickle as a flavor. Keep up with me on this because that's about to get fucking weird. But I hate eating pickles. I'll still eat the pickles if they're like there, right? But it doesn't bring me like any joy. I'm just pretty much too lazy to just take them off of the fucking thing, off the hamburger, because it's probably a hamburger that I'm eating. So I'll just like leave them on, right? So like a lot of times when I get a McDonald's hamburger, I'll just leave them on and call it a day. I like the taste. I just don't like eating them. But pickle vodka isn't eating pickles. It's just tasting pickles that are also vodka. So I'm kind of looking forward to finally trying this vodka. I really want to. It's not exactly something that I could walk into any local Publix liquor store and be like, yeah, I'm looking for pickle vodka. Do you have it? And they're going to look at me like I'm fucking crazy. Of course they don't fucking have it. As much as I would want it. See, even though it smells like Purex, it does not taste like Purex. And it has a weird sweet note on the back end. Like just a very subtle, maybe high fructose corn syrup, but it's very not noticeable. Like, I had to search for it to find it on that one, which was a little weird because usually it's like not hidden. Like, I guess is the only way I could say that. So I am happy with that as a purchase. I don't think I finished my story. So the lady was helping me out, right, with finding what I was looking for because I was searching for a while for the P1 vodka. She finally gets everyone out so that she can kind of step out from behind the counter to come assist me in trying to find what I was looking for. And this is what she recommended. And there was two different sizes. There's the big size, which is what I ended up getting, and there was a small size, right? I pick up the small size first because I want to try it before I invest in a large handle of it, right? Because it makes sense to try it first, right? And not just immediately take this person's word for it, because this person could be wrong. They don't know what I like to drink, and their taste buds are entirely different than mine. She watched me pick it up, and she goes, "Oh no, sweetheart, you want the big one. You'll save $10. And at that point, I was like, "I'll save $10. It's on sale. I'll just get the big one." So I ended up buying the big one. That's why I got the big one. Otherwise, I would have bought the small one. And part of that comes down to I don't know if I like it or not, and the other part of that comes down to my liquor cabinet is not big currently. One of my ex-coworkers, because he no longer works with us, was actually able to get me a very large liquor cabinet. And like, I am very excited to be able to fill it up with liquor from like all over the country. But I unfortunately made a stupid decision to put currently my grandmother's, because it will probably end up being mine one day, American Fostoria in it. So the entire thing is now dominated by American Fostoria, which sucks because I specifically got this liquor cabinet to store my liquor in and then be able to expand the collection and not feel bad about it taking up other space in the room and shit. And then didn't use it for what I wanted to use it for, like a dumbass. So I'm basically waiting on the American Fostoria to go like somewhere else so that I can finally use my liquor cabinet. Will that ever happen? Probably not. But we'll see. Never know. Two and two makes 4. 4 and 4 makes 8. So I think these are 8s. Do I have 3 by 6. Not 3 by 8. So we're just gonna. What the fuck are you doing? Hey. Panther. One of my cats is climbing on something. Hopefully he doesn't fall. There's 1, there's 3, that makes 4, plus 2 makes 6, plus another 6 makes 12, so 2 of these should do it. He's burying himself in my clothes now. So directly across from me, that way, we have storage in the other room. And I have, please don't fall. Please do not fall. Come on, you can recover. Panther. He's stuck. Push forward, buddy. You got it. I think he's got his claws stuck in one of my hoodies. Oh, oh, he's got it stuck. Oh, oh God, he almost fell. Are you really stuck? What do you... Oh, he finally got it. All right. He's fine. Jesus Christ. Yeah, so this is finally starting to hit a little bit. I'm about halfway through it. So that's not too bad. It's kind of nice. Oh, shit. Yeah, so also FYI, alcohol is a depressant. No shit. And it just makes me very sleepy and tired. So at any point in time, if I just like in stream without saying anything, it's because I'm tired and I wanted to go to sleep. Because I will do that. On a scale of 1 to 10, how drunk? Yeah, buzzed. So I think like it goes tipsy, buzzed, drunk, right? So we're kind of in buzzed right now. Keep in mind, I should probably eat. So first and foremost, I'm drinking on an empty stomach. There's a very strong chance that I'm already dehydrated because I did not drink any water today. I've been drinking nothing but Mountain Dew all day today, which is a terrible health choice on my part that I will probably regret in the future before I realize what happened to me, right? And I have not eaten since about 9:30 this morning. So I stopped by a McDonald's on my way out to our first job site out in the field. And I picked up 3 of their $3 deals that they've got going on right now. So they have like a deal right now where you can get a hash brown in either a sausage biscuit or a sausage McMuffin for $3. So I picked up 3 of those, and I ate all 3 of the hash browns right after that, and then I ate 2 of the sandwiches, and I left one specifically for lunch, and then I did not take a lunch today. I probably should put that on an overtime sheet that I didn't take lunch today to get my 30 minutes back that they're going to take out, but oh well. Shit happens, I guess. I'm not inebriated enough that I would be concerned about standing up here in a second to go get my food, because I'm about to stand up and go get my food. But I am in a state of mind where I would be okay being more vocal around people who might be in the room with me. So I did previously talk about this on stream. I get in a weird headspace when other people are around while I'm streaming. So at this point, I probably would ignore that at this point. Probably. I don't know yet because no one's around. My wife went to the gym, so whenever she gets home, we'll find out. Let me take a sip of this Frostbite, and then I'll get back with you after I chase this with some more Mountain Dew, because it needs a chaser, dude. It really does. And then I'm going to go get a sausage McMuffin. short answer to your story, no. Sorry. Short answer to your question, no. But I will give you the long answer when I get back from getting my sausage McMuffin. So real quick, I'm just going to mute myself. Interesting burp. So before I eat this, the long answer to your question, have I ever gotten high before? No. And I have no interest in ever getting high. I've had ample opportunities to get high. I'm 26 now. Um, I've been graduated from high school for almost a decade. We're close to the decade mark, but not all the way there yet, right? I had ample opportunity in high school. I had ample opportunity in the couple years of college that I had. I had ample opportunity in the job that I held before the current one I have, and now I have zero opportunity in the current job that I have. I am a little bit of a straight edge anyways. I have no interest in smoking. I had childhood asthma as a child, and I am deathly afraid that smoking, vaping, inhaling substances of any type is going to kill me outright one of these days when my asthma decides to flare up. Because I had childhood asthma. I have not had a flare up in a very long time, but I am deathly afraid that I will suffocate to death if I do decide to vape or smoke. That's the primary method of getting high. So, in high school, college, and in the previous job that I had before this, my asthma and me potentially dying was the main reason that I did not decide to get high, right? I've never smoked weed or anything. Now, the main reason that I've decided to not get high and or use CBD oil for anything that might be ailing me is because of my current job occupation. I do work for the government, and because I work for the government, I am mandated that I can at any point in time have a random drug test done. And they do not fuck around with that shit. They will fire you on the spot. We go to a correctional facility for ours. The Advent Health team is on site. They take our urine sample on site. They give us our results back on site within the amount of time when we do our urine tests, right? If they find in that test that there is any trace of anything that is illicit, you're out. You are gone. There is no panel that you can review the decision with. There is no going to your boss and telling them, oh, well, this was on Friday and I have Friday off and I had 2 days of something. There's literally none of that. You're just gone. You're out. And at that point, you can no longer come back to work with that organization again, the government organization again. And I have no interest in doing it because currently, my benefits are fantastic, and I have a retirement fund that I'm putting money into that my organization matches. So I would be foolish to give that up. Benefits are a big deal, and I know that for my generation of people, I'm a Gen Z, it's kind of hard to show people that benefits are very important because a lot of times they kind of look at the dollar signs more than the benefits. But now that I've gotten older and I'm going through some of the stuff that I currently am, having that insurance to pay for things is very beneficial. That's kind of why I call them benefits. So um, I just picked up prescriptions for my wife when I purchased the vodka right beside me. I didn't have to pay anything out of pocket for the prescriptions. Um, that's that's a big deal because prescriptions can be a very large amount of money, um, and it can really hurt a lot of people to have to pay that out of pocket. So having those benefits is a big deal. And having that retirement fund, something that I know that after my 30 years of working with the government that I get, and that's my set income for then on, is good for me. So I started working with the government when I was 21, I believe. How old am I? 26. I've been working. I was 22. Sorry. I started working when I was 22, which means my 30 years, I retire at the age of 52. And then I can start something called the drop program. The drop program is basically I'm retired officially, but I'm still working with them. So I'll still be making money. And then I could do that for a total of 8 years before I'm out, which means I can work until I'm 60. I can officially retire at 52, which is about half, roughly, of the age expectancy for women in our country because men's age expectancy is less. Um, and those are some pretty rough numbers, but it's about right. Um, which is kind of nice. Which basically means I'll work half my life, and then I'll get to enjoy the other half of my life, for the most part. And then I'll have those benefits to kind of get me to a good state by the end of all that. So. On top of that, there's investments and all that other stuff that goes into that, but that's like a completely different thing. I would imagine pretty high to lose a fight against someone that's not even there, right? Um, I definitely feel for you. I think there's this innate fear in me that if I ever do decide to get high, which I do not condone, I do not agree with unless it was recreationally available federally. Um, Give me a drug and alcohol test any point in time, and I'm going to be sober for it whenever you decide to. So, the government organization that I currently work for, don't bring it on. Like, you're not going to find anything with me. But if I ever did decide to, hypothetically, not saying I ever want to, one of my main concerns is having a bad trip. Having the instance like you had, Frostbite, where it ends up with I'm fighting a dude that's not even there and I lose, or having an existential crisis in the middle of that. That's like a yeah. If I had an existential crisis in the middle of a very bad trip, um, that's not good. That's gonna put me in a very dark place. I might come out of that place afterwards when I'm sober, but for that little bit of time, that could stick with me for a while, and that's not a good thing. Astronauts could probably reach that height. I am I am somewhat curious if astronauts conform to. They probably do, right? So having a very important job like with an astronaut to like make sure that you're not going to crash a fucking spaceship or like kill everyone on board because it's a dangerous environment, you probably submit to some pretty rigorous blood and alcohol tests, drug and alcohol tests. I said blood because instead of doing like a breathalyzer, you're probably doing like actual blood for that. Um, But I bet there's some pretty chill as fuck astronauts out there right now that are probably retired at this point that are probably tripping, right? I'm gonna mute myself so I can open up this wrapper and probably like eat, and then I'm gonna read your comment, and then I'll respond back to you, boss man. Give me 1 second. All right. I already feel like way better. So I don't get along like a lot with sausage in the morning. Like sausage just doesn't do me any good. So I usually don't. But with the whole like meal deal that McDonald's has going on, where it's only $3, like it's kind of what I had. So, but that That went really hard. Like, it had no business going as hard as it did for what it was. So that was kind of nice. To get back to you, Frostbite. I am happy. The silver lining, right? Sorry. Was that at least at one point in time, you could spend time with your family like that, right? Because I don't think a lot of people could say that. I think there are people out there right now that have hobbies that their family does not know about because their family would probably not support it. And I would prefer the family support than just be like, yeah, no, we're not going to do this, right? That's what I would prefer. So to be able to have a hobby, if you will, weed, for example, and being able to, like, as a family come together to do that is kind of nice, you know. Every family is different. Would that work for every family? Probably not, right? But at least as a family, you can do something together. I think it's rare nowadays to have families do things together. Um, Especially in my generation, there are people who do things with the people in their family, but they don't do it as a family. Um, which really just comes down to maybe not wanting to be there. Uh, sometimes it involves being a little selfish. Sometimes, just sometimes. Right. So, a little bit of background for those who don't know for whatever reason. I've worked my current job for about 4.5 years. 4.5 years ago, before my current job, I worked my previous job. My previous job was a before and after care counselor for first and second graders at a small, pretty localized daycare. It was not exactly the most fulfilling of jobs. It was a very, I'm going to use the word surreal. It was a very surreal experience. For those of you who are familiar more with the surrealist way of how painting works, I'm kind of leaning towards that version of surreal versus the surreal that most people probably have a denotation for, right? I met a lot of parents when I worked there. I worked there for probably 3 years, right? I say probably like I didn't actually work there for 3 years. I worked there for 3 years. Um, I worked there from 2019 to 2022. I met a lot of people, old and young. I met a lot of parents who were struggling a lot with who they are, work-home life balance, getting their children ready and prepped for the world, walking their children through life. And it was difficult. And I saw that a lot with those people. But to kind of tie this back into what I said about people being selfish is what I ended up seeing a lot. I keep throwing these blanket terms on. I'm really sorry. What I ended up seeing at times, and not just a lot, is there were parents who were very young that would come to pick up their child, and it was never about the child. Or, how was your day? What did you learn today? How is this friend doing? How is this boyfriend doing? How is this girlfriend doing? Yes, first and second graders have boyfriends and girlfriends now. It's a very complicated world that we live in. Instead of asking them how they were doing or how their day went or what they learned, to kind of let your child know that you are invested in their life and their progress in life, it usually turned into, hey, hurry up, grab your things, let's go. We need to go. I have to go home and cook. I have to go home and clean. You have to go do homework. Um, and there's more selfishness in those statements, right? Because it's not necessarily about, did your child have a good day? It's more like, oh my gosh, I need to go home right now to do this. And it's disappointing. It is not every parent. I am sure that most parents out there put their best foot forward on a daily basis, and it is difficult because times have definitely changed. What I've grown up with versus what these children currently grow up with is entirely different, and I'm only 26. So imagine someone older than me who had vastly different things when they grew up, now having a child and trying to mentor them and tutor them. It's a very difficult thing to do. And to make it less difficult, one of the easiest things to do is to show you that you are invested in your child's life. Letting them know that you are here for them and that you love them and that you want the best for them. And sometimes that involves doing difficult things, like taking the iPad away or taking their iPhone away. I like how we generically use iPad to just kind of describe a tablet, but it's really just a tablet. And that iPhone is the same. I used iPad and iPhone in that sentence, but it's more like just tablet or phone. The current generation of children is growing with a tablet or phone continuously. They're hooked into social media. They are hooked into internet streaming. That comes down to subscriptions that the family has: Disney Plus, Discovery Plus, Paramount Plus, Hulu, HBO Max, any streaming platform that is out there. Netflix, Prime Video are the other two big ones that I've completely glossed over. And I think the biggest one out of all of those, because it's free and readily downloaded on almost every device that you will actively buy out there, is YouTube. YouTube plays a huge role in what our children do and do not know. I say our children. I don't even have children. I do have children, just not human children. I have cats. Cats are my children. Cats, I don't ever have to worry about them going to YouTube and learning words that they should not know at their current age, concepts that they should probably be avoiding at their age. Not that they shouldn't know, they should just be avoiding it at their age. And strife, right? It makes me sad on the inside. I'm going to say that. When I hear that children fight, right? And not a play fight, right? Because two girls that are in first and second grade that are best friends will fight continuously, right? They will have arguments. That's to be expected of them. They are in first and second grade, and they are two girls, and both of them will want to be the princess, but only one of them can be the princess. So they will fight over that. That's to be expected. They are kids. They do that. What disappoints me and what makes me sad on the inside is when two first and second graders get into a physical fist fight. And not like a small scuffle where they just kind of slap each other, but a closed fist, I'm going to do everything in my power to put you in the hospital fight. That type of behavior is what makes me sad on the inside. That type of behavior is a learned behavior, right? That's not something that they just grow into out of the womb. That is something that they learn from places. Can I put the whole blame entirely on just internet streaming and being attached to the phone? Not really. But it is a little easy to access some content out there that is probably not appropriate for their age group, right? And then this opens up a whole nother can of worms that I don't have solutions to, about who is going to monitor what's on YouTube or the internet. How do we restrict access to sections of people, things like that. And there's that's a very hot debated topic, and I'm not even going to touch that because, like I said, I just don't have solutions to that. But where we could start, if we wanted to say that, is with parenting, right? So that comes back to the original point that I was making when we got there. That selfishness that parents have right now, where it's kind of about them. Sometimes it shouldn't be about us. Sometimes we need to take a step back and make it about other people. And it's difficult to do that. And I'm being reminded about concepts from high school that I used to joke about all the time. And I know that I haven't touched the 512 in a while, and I'm going to apologize for that. But one day I'll probably look back on the stream, and it will be fun to look back on this. Thomas Hobbes was right. It is something that I talked about in 2015 quite often. Give me a chance to almost finish the vodka. There's not a whole lot left. About a shot. Oh, I let it sit on my tongue too long. It's not bad, but wow. So, in 2015, I was in high school. It was my senior year of high school. I went to a pretty small local school. It was a public school. I had a specific teacher who was teaching a specific subject. She was teaching us AP Government and Economics at the time, right? Sorry. Rewinding. Getting my classes confused. It's been almost a decade. I apologize. Same teacher who taught me in my senior year macroeconomics and government, which was a half semester and half semester. So those two classes went together. She also taught me European history. And a part of European history, for the AP part of European history, we discussed a philosopher, and his name was Thomas Hobbes. And Thomas Hobbes, I can simplify the argument that Thomas Hobbes made to its bare necessity, right, is that every human being is innately selfish, whether they acknowledge it or not, right? And when I read into his philosophy, and I was young and angsty as a teenager in 2015 in high school, I would tell her all the time that Thomas Hobbes was right. And what I meant by that is that every human being is innately selfish, whether we recognize it or not, right? Whether we choose to formally recognize it or not. So a lot of that, if I simplify his argument into my own words, right? When you donate X amount of money to the homeless, are you truly doing it out of the kindness of your heart? Or are you doing it because you're selfish? And because doing it gives you that rush of dopamine or serotonin that makes you feel good about yourself. It doesn't make you feel good that the homeless person might have a meal or some hot drink on a cold night, or maybe enough money to finally buy that comforter that would give them a warm place to sleep at night. But it just makes you feel good because you donated, right? That innate selfishness is what I have kind of seen in my life for a very long time now. And I play into it as well, because I do a lot of things that take self-reflection of me looking back and saying, oh, wait, I did that because I was being selfish. I didn't do that because I thought it was going to be nice or make me feel good about myself. I did that because I was selfish. And we're seeing that now with a lot of the more parenting now is not necessarily that your child comes first, but you still come first, even though you've had a child. So that's the whole point that I was making in this entire long tangent that we've had, is that we currently have a lot of selfishness in the parenting right now, and it's reflecting in how the children are being raised. For better or for worse. You're not going to know until it comes out. And that's going to tie back to you, Frostbite. And I know you're probably not here because I only see one person in chat, and I'm assuming that it's me on my phone that's that one person in the chat. But to be able to do something with your family members, even something, I say as simple, like it's that simple, even as something as simple as getting high with one another is nice. To be able to spend some of that family time together, right? Even if it's getting high. It's something, right? And it's nice, and it's beautiful, and it's nice to be able to get high with someone that you love and trust and adore. Hopefully adore, anyhow. Everyone's family life is different and can change rapidly on any basis. So we're going to speak a little bit about the 512. Hey, Matthew, sorry. I work with a Matthew who shortens his name to Matt. And I know personally, on a personal level, that Matt, whose name is Matthew, is shortens. So I guess I know a couple Matts. Sorry for shortening your name. I don't know you like that to shorten your name. So we're going to speak a little bit about the 512 because I know I had people at the beginning of the stream and we were doing stuff and we were drinking together and we were having fun, and then I completely dropped into a completely different tangent and I've lost a lot of people. So right now what you're looking at is, as far as I know, one of the only production shotguns that H&K has ever made. And that's the 512. It's a very simple semi-automatic shotgun that has a very special muzzle brake on the end of it that's supposed to make the shot go vertically, I think. On this one, I think it's vertically. It might be horizontally. I might just be misremembering it. It's been a while since I've seen Ian McCullen's video on the 512, but he has a video on it on Forgotten Weapons if you want to check that out. All I've done is modernize it in a sense. So we tapped the receiver to add a rail to it, and then we added the SIG Romeo T9, I believe is the name of the optic. We tapped the receiver, added that optic. We've updated the wooden furniture to composite furniture. The forearm and the grip, the semi-pistol grip of the shotgun, have been updated to have rubberized grip. That's the black section that you're seeing. I extended the magazine tube to include 2 more shotgun shells in it. I extended the foregrip out as well, the forehand guard, so that it's longer where that magazine tube extension is. So the magazine tube used to end right about here, but I've extended it out for the 2 shotgun shells. So I also extended out the handguard down here. Of course, extended the barrel because the magazine tube got extended. And then I just built in this stream, while I was going through everything, this top half of the handguard that could mount a peg box, because peg boxes make everything better, of course. So I've updated it to white and black with gold accents for the furniture and everything. It's got a very clean, futuristic look to it, to be honest with you. And then if you take a look at the high-res render, the 4K render, if you will, even though my monitor is not 4K, I've given the shotgun shells a blue glow to them. I like this look better because you don't get the artifacting that comes on down here. If I did this with the transparent background, this artifacting wouldn't appear, but I kind of like having the background for the background on my laptop, the gray. So this is what I want it to look like, and this is what it actually looks like most of the time. It's very annoying. I don't know why Studio does this. I don't know if it's a render setting that I have or what, but it just does, and it sucks. It's not good, but it happens. So I have a whole bunch of lore kind of up here. I have a headcanon about what this is and what it does. I should say I'm split between a couple of headcanons of what this is and what it does. First and foremost, It has a PEC box on it. PEC boxes are primarily used for fighting at night, right? Secondly, it has a pretty large holographic sight on it, so it's supposed to be used for like better aiming, essentially, instead of just regular shotgun sights, which this does have, one here up front. I've increased the magazine capacity. I've updated it to more modern furniture, and then the actual shotgun shells themselves glow blue, right? So headcanon wise, I'm kind of thinking of some type of special energy directed semi-auto shotgun based off of the 512 that shoots like lightning balls, because that would just be cool. My headcanon is torn between what it shoots lightning balls at, right? So something that I've kind of looked into recently is getting more into the creative process of building certain things. If we come into USB disk, actually RPK, it's right here. Right, I've been looking into kind of like justifying, like this is an RPK. I've been looking into justifying like, okay, why is there this sticking off the end of it? Or why is this rail up here on top of it? Or what does this thing do? Or what does this thing in front of the gas block do? Why is the barrel this thick? Why is this here? Like stuff like that. I've been trying to justify changes in designs and aspects like that using lore and things like that. So most of it for right now has been usually Russian-made things. RPK, PL14. I've just started working on an MP443 Grok. So I'm kind of looking at moving into updating that a little bit. And then in the weird small SMG that I've already done, I think it's the PP91 Keter is the name of it. And then obviously I've done an AK-105 as well with the general theme. I made a design choices for that I had a thought process for, but I haven't explained that thought process with like lore for this kind of headcanon that I've got going on. So I'm in the process of starting that. So if we also take a look in this folder here, like this, for example, thank God it's a picture, otherwise this was going to go downhill quick with how many applications I have open on my computer. Please open. This is a specification sheet, right, for the suppressor. So here's the side view, here's the top view, here's the front view, here's a chart with a comparison to a leading suppressor for AKs. So obviously the PBS1 is here. Joint mass driver suppressor unit is here. That's my company's bid, and then a comparison, like, so how long it is, how big it is, how much it weighs, full auto rated, total rounds to meltdown, and then mass driver, right, which is the counterbalance recoil system. And then there's a blurb here about it, and then here's the full like 3D view, and then like a little bit of information down here about like who sent it and everything, right? So that's like the kind of the lore behind some of the design choices I made and why I made them and things like that. So I've been starting to get into doing that, and because I've started to do that, I kind of wanted to do the same with this. I really want to say that it shoots energy balls using the special shotgun shells, but it needs a reason to shoot energy balls, right? What I don't want to do is build my universe around like Russia fighting another country, right? We've got plenty of that right now. I'm really big into space exploration in my headcanon, but I'm also like starting to come around to maybe doing a more supernatural side of things. This is going to sound really stupid. I'm going to let the cat out of the bag. I don't want to say it because I don't want people to kind of like come and take my idea. But I really want this to be like something that Germany is getting invaded by Wendigos, right? And they need something to shoot at the Wendigos. So they contract my company, Blue Jay Industries, to update H&K 512s and their arsenal to be able to take on an army of Wendigos. Um, it's a ridiculous idea, but it's like, it's just fun, right? And I really wanted to kind of play with that idea of having the fun. Our other choice is to go more towards the space exploration side of things. Um, and I'm sending employees of my company, hypothetically, this is all creative writing stuff. I'm sending employees of the company into space to inhabit asteroids for long periods of time to bring back these rare earth metals that lead to more crazy gun designs and things like that. And while there, they encounter robots, and because they're robots, energy works against the robots like super effective, right? So they need something to shoot energy balls out of, and shotgun shells are already very large in diameter, so shotgun shells work well. We now need a shotgun to run it through, but why we don't use Benelli, I don't really know, to be honest with you. Why did we choose a very obscure H&K 512? I have no idea. Other than I haven't made but one Benelli in my entire career of making Lego weapons. I've made the Benelli M4, and that is it. Which I guess is the Benelli M1014. No, I think it's the M4. I don't know. Anyhow, I've only ever made the one Benelli shotgun, and that's it. And now I'm starting to think, because I do have a couple versions of that. So we've already saved this, so we're going to go ahead and close out of this because we're done with that for now. But I do have shotguns right here. I do have a couple versions of the M1014. I was right. I think it's also called the Super M4, I think. Spaz 12 is made by Franke. That's obviously made by Winchester. This is Russian. Serbu is made by Serbu here in Florida, actually, fun fact. I actually don't know who makes this. I know it's based off of a real shotgun. I just don't know who makes it. Mossberg 590. The house key is a custom thing made by Anton from H3VR. And then the Boss G12 from Rainbow Six Siege is just like, it's just an over-under double barrel. Like, I don't really know what to tell you. But I've only ever made the Benelli M1014. Right now, sitting on the USB drive, I've got the one from COD 4, which has the saddle on the side and then the rail on top with the adjustable stock and the standard forend, right? That's pretty standard stuff. But I've also got the one from Modern Warfare 2, which has the updated forend right here, right? And it has a flashlight on it in game, which is crazy because you don't actually use the flashlight in game. I think it would be cool if you could, because then like there's even more reason to use it. But anyhow, it has the updated forend on it that has the integrated rails. It's an integrated tri-rail. Would it make way more sense to take on an army of Wendigos, especially here in America instead of Germany? Wendigo is a Native American. How am I going to put this? The Wendigo is a Native American icon. We're going to say icon because legend does not do it justice, because the Native Americans think it is. Well, the Native Americans believe that it's real. Folktale still implies that it's fake, even though the Native Americans think it's real. So I'm going to go with legend. I feel like legend is not the word that I used before that. But the Wendigo is more of a Native American thing here in the U.S., so it would be something that I would be like, uh, if we were to take on an army of Wendigos, it would probably be more with something readily available to the U.S. military and or the U.S. civilian populace, which immediately is going to be Mossberg 590, Winchester Model 500? No. What's the most common pump-action Mossberg shotgun? It's the Winchester 590. I feel like it might be Mossberg 500, but I might be just tripping myself up out of the head. Those two pump-action shotguns are like 100%, like, they're going to be found everywhere. They've been mass-produced for a very long time now and like super easy to upgrade. But they're pump action, right? Like, you don't want a fully grown Wendigo charging at you at like 7.5-ish feet, superhuman strength, superhuman speed, stag horns coming out of its head, basically this emaciated death walker charging at you, and then you have to like pump a fucking shotgun, right? Like, you clearly want to be able to just mag dump the shit out of it. M1014 probably, if it was in America, would be a better shotgun to like choose to update and modernize, right? And not H&K 512. So I don't particularly know why I chose the H&K 512 to modernize and up. Sorry. I don't know why I chose the H&K 512 to update and modernize to fight Wendigos with. I don't know why Wendigos would end up in Germany. I would imagine if there was anything supernatural in Germany that needed to be fought with plasma shooting ball lightning shotguns, it would have to be like Krampus, right? Krampus would be their version of the Wendigo. So I am now actually tempted to reach out to a couple people that I know in Germany and ask them if they have anything similar to the Wendigo that isn't Krampus. Krampus is more of like a holiday time thing. He's like a seasonal employee, if you will, of folklore. Like, he comes around during the holidays and then kind of goes away after that, and people kind of forget about him into the holidays again. The Wendigo is kind of always here in America. And Skinwalkers, I guess, if you want to name that as well. But please do not confuse a Skinwalker with a Wendigo, because they are completely different things. One of them practices black magic, and then the other one practices actual cannibalism. To be Skinwalker, you practice black magic, right? You don't innately have to go down the cannibal route. To be Wendigo, you got to go down the cannibal route. That is a very broad way of saying that. There are definitely a little bit more distant differentials between those two things. If you are looking for an all-encompassing video on what the differences are, the Lore Lodge has a beautiful video that is literally titled "What's the Difference Between a Wendigo and a Skinwalker?" Please just watch that video. That video will give you the rundown of everything that you need for it. So I'm going to go ahead and close out of this. I am just a little bit more hungry. And I don't know what I'm going to eat. So I got to go look at what I'm going to eat and figure that part out. So while I go figure out what I'm going to eat, I'm going to mute this so that I can move around and not worry about like destroying your guys' eardrums. And then I'm just going to move it back over to the slideshow so that you guys can see the background image change on occasion. So you guys are going to see the background image change on occasion. It changes every minute, so I don't know how long it's going to take for me to come back with food that I want to eat. hopefully not too long, and then we'll jump back into making some more changes to the 512. And we'll go from there. I don't know. So I'll be back in a little bit, guys. Give me 1 second. Sorry about that. I know I was out for, I don't know, like 5, 10 minutes, but good news is I have food in the form of Cheddar's chicken tenders. I'm not exactly a big fan of Cheddar's, but my family loves to eat at Cheddar's. I don't always get to pick where we go. That's as simple as it gets, unfortunately. So we're going to reopen the 512. I closed out of it to look at the other thing and then didn't look at the other thing like super often, but we'll reopen the 512 and we'll get back into looking at the 512 and everything, right? So I don't think there's a lot more that I could really add to the 512. I've kind of looked into potentially doing a shell scabbard of some sort. I've had the shell scabbard in 2 different places. I've had it here on the side of the receiver using these pieces right here because those are bricks with studs on the side of them. What the fuck are these things called? Brick modifieds. They're these right here. Brick modifieds with studs on the side. And I've also debated on doing them here on this part of the stock as well, at a slight angle. So I've seen shotgun shells kind of stored on shotguns like that for a while. I definitely like what I've done here with these 2 so far, where they're like specifically a what do you call it? When the shotgun goes dry and you're putting that first shotgun shell in, just to close the bolt, and then you can load the magazine tube the rest of the way. That's what this is basically kind of mimicking. This has been done in John Wick. If you take a look at some of Garand Thumb's videos on tactical shotguns, he's done it in the slow motion shots. It basically, the bolt's going to be open. You're going to take that shotgun shell, drop it right into the ejection port, into that part of the receiver, and you're going to drop that bolt, and it's going to go home. And then you've got a round in the chamber, and you can just start loading up that tube with whatever you need to load up with, right? That's something that it fits really well, like here on this shotgun, right? What doesn't fit, so if we just take and we duplicate this one real quick, Command C, Command V, we just throw this up here, right? And for right now, we'll just throw it up, stick it up in the air, right? So having that scabbard down the side over here doesn't look particularly like the best in the world. Which kind of sucks, because I really wanted it to look pretty decent. But it ended up not looking pretty decent. If we take the same one and just copy and paste it again, get rid of that, copy and paste, and then place it here-ish, just for example, right? Because there's a stud there. It's just kind of there. It doesn't really like, sorry, it doesn't really like add to the overall look of the shotgun, right? Which kind of disappoints me, which is why I've kind of at this point opted out of having that side saddle with shells in it and just going for this more clean straight line look to it, right? So that kind of leaves that. The only other thing that I could even remotely think of maybe upgrading, but probably won't upgrade, is having like an angled foregrip on the shotgun itself. I personally don't like vertical foregrips on shotguns. Just they don't do it for me, really. An angled foregrip would be something that I'd be more inclined to go for, but I doubt I'm going to do that. I could include a flashlight up here underneath the magazine tube as well, but I think that's going to ruin the kind of line that we have going on with the shotgun right now, because this is a very clean, straight line for the most part through here until we get to the trigger guard where it just rounds off and then drops into the stock itself. And then you kind of have this kind of more broken, jagged line up here at the top, which works really well. And then obviously the bottom line does not want to, like having another thing jut out right here, similar to that MP5 style of foregrip, just isn't going to work for it. So I think right now we're kind of done with the 512. While we're here, let's load up the MRadler. So I do have a reference picture for what we're working on with the MRadler. This is 1:1 scale. And I've currently got this kind of like set up. My current issue with the MRadler, and part of why I've currently stopped working on it, right? So this upper rail section is going to be 3 wide because 3 wide is basically what all my rails are. So naturally, this first section where it flares out down here at the bottom is going to be 2 wide. So 3 with 1 stud on one side and 1 stud on the other side makes 5. Pretty simple, right? So this is also 5. And then you can kind of see what I've done here is what happens here-ish, right? Where the curve kind of comes in a little bit. So it gets like a little bit thinner there. Now the problem with doing that is that since I've now done this on this side over here, where it flares in, is that this here was not the width of this up here, which is causing issues. So I kind of stopped work for a little bit because of that, because it's not gonna, mentally, there's some mental gymnastics that need to go on dimensions wise to kind of make this work the way that I want it to. And it's probably going to involve making shit just as illegal as possible, because there's already tons of shit on here that's already illegal as possible. So everything that just disappeared is because it's clipping. So that's what's illegal, if that makes you feel any better. But it's going to look pretty cool when I get done. That's pretty much it. I really want to do like a full long range setup for this, which involves, we just open real quick. I don't think I have it on here because I don't think I've broken it up yet. Yeah, so I don't have that. So we'll go back to the desktop, weapon attachments, optics. We're gonna grab this one here. So for those of you who don't know, this is like a quasi plaque scope. I don't know where half of it came from, to be honest with you. So the base model of the scope, which is about yay to there. So the section, the color black, the color that is black, and then the scope rings itself were found from my different usernames AR15 community file, where like a whole bunch of people contributed. And at this point in time, I have no idea who contributed this part of the scope, right? The front part of the scope, this right here, with the glass was contributed by Admiral Plackbar. He's a fantastic Lego builder. He builds a whole myriad of different things. So I took that and I put it on an LPVO basically to get a full scope. And then this is the Gucci one that I have. So the original one that I did kind of looks like this. This is Plaque's front end, and then from here back is the LPVO setup. I think I changed the turntables for the windage and everything, but that's all like beside the point. Here's the actual LPVO, like right here, base and everything for the mount. So this went to this using Plaque stuff, and then I dressed it up even further into this over here. So this is the scope that we'll be putting on it. It's got the top rail for a piggyback iron or piggyback red dot if you needed it. It's got the bigger adjustments turntables on it for sniping, and then it's got this little thingy on it. At one point in time, it did have a bubble level that stuck off the side. I think if you can find it inside of here, it's a Barrett M90 suppressed. You can see it sticking off right here is the bubble level, right, to like set it all up and shit. But so here's the exact scope. Actually, I upgraded the scope like by adding the rail to the top of it and the turntable and that little just tan thing in the back, and then this bubble level because of this project right here, this M99 that was suppressed. So, yeah. Anyhow, going back to this, we're gonna grab the scope really quick. Command C, come back to the MRadler, Control V. We're just going to drop this in over here. We're going to create it into a submodel, and we're going to name this the scope. And that'll take care of that. So we can close out of optics. And then we're also going to open from USB disk, gun file sorted, anti-material rifles, because it's up here, Barrett M107. In my different usernames, M107A1 suppressed, though I think it's the M107A2 as this model. Yeah, this is the A2 version. The A2 version is lighter. It has the built-in cheek weld, and then it's got the updated like rear stock thing. I don't know. I think Barrett just wanted to sell the military a lighter version of the 50 cal. So we're going to go ahead and grab all of this here, Command C, come back, Command V, pop that right there, create into submodel, suppressor. So this is going to go on the end of this, and then this is going to go up here. And you know, while we're here, right, first and foremost, let's save this. Let's go on a journey together, right? So I kind of want to do like a full night vision setup because I haven't really done a night vision setup. I've done a couple thermal sights for sniper rifles and stuff. Cool, thanks for stopping by, Sharpshooter. But I haven't done any like full night vision anything, right? So we're going to kind of look into it a little bit. I'm kind of looking more toward something kind of like this, where it's just mounted forward of your scope. Not like to the scope itself. Here's an eBay one. Free shipping. Gosh, that's crazy, man. gotta like look a certain way though, right? Like you can't just grab like goofy as shit looking night vision scope. Like something like this, I hate how this looks. Like this one isn't too bad. Sorry, that's the vodka. This one isn't too bad because it's like it's kind of here-ish and like I'm good with that. It's more like kind of like a ballistic CPU and shit, but like something like this is just like goofy as shit, man. I mean, that was not bad, but wow, man. A Wi-Fi digital night vision scope mounted straight into your magnified optic. Sorry. Yeah, there's not a lot of whatchamacallits, like night vision out there. So I wonder if this is more like a hobby type thing going on. Let's go straight to aim point, right? So I guess we're going to go to EOTech now to see if EOTech offers any thermal and night vision. So we're getting slightly closer. Does it mount? Well, so I didn't really want a thermal optic anyways because I kind of already have a thermal. But let's just take a look. Yeah, so that mounts to a rail. Just type in that and see what pops up. Armacite, apparently. Holy shit, they got a lot. Sometimes I forget that they actually design weapons. And one of them is the SR-25. And look at that suppressor, man. Crazy. Yeah, so we're just going to jump into SR-25 real quick. I guess I like this one more. Why is there a question mark? Okay, so I'm glad that they have the size on here. That's going to help making it. What's up with the question marks? Field of view 9? Field of view 6? So this is crazy, right? Recognize a standing man under starlight 800 meters out. So if we just assume that every meter is 3 feet and we just multiply 8 by 3, we'll get to 24. So 2,400 feet away, you can see a standing man underneath starlight. 3,000 feet away, you'll see a vehicle under starlight. And then, so something I saw up here is where was it? Right here, right? Field of view 9, image intensified, and then 6 if it's in thermal. But my curiousness is, I thought that this was just a night vision scope. It definitely doesn't look like there's like anything like thermal on it or anything. AN PVS-30. Images. So this isn't like a bad looking scope. So I might go with this. Yeah, I might go with this. Damn, what a setup. He's got a peck box down here and then this up here. It's an interesting stock look here. Damn, this thing is huge looking on this rifle. But like all these other like purpose-built, like here's an op, for example. Op. I said op. I am so sorry. Here's an Arctic Warfare Magnum that's set up with it, and it looks like so small. And a peck box with a suppressor on it, and it just looks so dainty. Oh, here's their little cover that we've been seeing on occasion. Oh man, I'm gonna eat this last little bit of chicken so I can finally get rid of it. All right, so the PVS-30 is probably going to be the night vision thing that I go with, right? Whoops. Where did... Oh, I closed out of it. All right. But while we were here, I did want to look at this again. Because isn't this... Ooh, but they sell complete uppers. And I do have a lower. I don't have a 6.5 Creedmoor lower though. So is 20-inch the longest? Yeah, so 20-inch is the longest. Close out of this. Hey, they have SR25 mags. I have a couple SR25 mags. A couple charging handles. Bolt carrier for the SR15. Wow, look at that one. It was fucking small. Look pretty neat though. They're also located out of Titusville, which is right around the corner from me, so that's pretty awesome. I love this. I know it's a suppressor that slides over the barrel, but I love it as a general design. Take a look at their handguards. Wow, they're just a standard RAS assembly. This is weird looking. Oh, it's the... So in the zoomed out picture, my brain immediately thought that this like continued around, and it was that weird like in between of a circle handguard and this, but it's really not. Like whoops, my bad. What's underneath accessories? Thumb rest. Hey, rail covers. That's kind of a good looking hand stop. Okay. Yeah, we'll get off CAC. I think I found everything I needed for the Radler getting the scope mounted up here, doing the Knight's Armor Corp Night Vision here, the suppressor out here from Barrett, because of course from Barrett, like the. Speaking of Barrett, this is going to be like all over their website. They see, like I said, they love the Rattler, man. Do they have a specific bipod? I don't think they do. Yeah, I don't think they do. Huh. And you'll see on a lot of these promotional pictures, like right here is the M107. They've got that pretty good looking right. So let's jump on to the A1 version. And here's the bipod, right? Yeah, so this clearly comes with it in here. If we take a look at the M Rattler real quick, it is brand new. Barrel system gets changed by the user. Bolt head is special. M-lock, magazine, 60 degrees, muzzle brake, trigger group tuning, stock tuning. So I'm assuming that this picture here is from their long range shooting event that they did, where they became, you're right here, second place in King of the 2 Miles. I'm assuming then that this is the picture from that, and they used this bipod. Yeah. All right. Now the question is, do I use the old bipod that my different username made and call it a day because it's got that Barrett look to it, right? Or do I build a new one? If we take a look right back here at the M99, here's the Barrett one, and it just fits really well with that, right? If we take a look at the MRAD, I used the one that I made a long time ago instead for the MRAD. And it's just not the same, really. Which is kind of sad looking. I might switch that out sometime soon. It looks good folded like this, but that's about it because it doesn't look as good unfolded. And then here's my old version of the M99. I didn't taper the stock on this one. I didn't put the bipod out front. And then obviously I have the older style of scope on it. But anywho, I think I'm pretty okay and comfortable calling this done on this. We've been going for about 3 hours. I did manage to finish the vodka, which was pleasant. And I'm currently working my way down off of that, basically. So I'm in a pretty happy place right now. So I've got a fridge that I need to clean, and when I get done with the cleaning of the fridge, I'm basically going to come back here and enjoy my new phone mount, because I literally just got this today, and it's awesome. Like, I can lay in bed and have the phone in a comfortable position for me to like watch what I want to watch without having to like suffer, basically. Like holding your arm like this for hours at a time sucks, or like this. So having a mount and just being able to move it wherever you need to is great. I love it. So thank you so much for watching. Remember to comment, rate, and subscribe for more videos similar to this one. Hopefully not as tipsy as I was this go around. So definitely not a drunk stream. Drunk stream. I was not inebriated enough to really slur my words other than the normal. Thank you. Kind of a dumbass. But it was enough. You know, I had a drink. It was just straight vodka, but it was only a drink. I gotta go clean out the fridge, and once I clean out the fridge, I'm gonna come back in here and I'm gonna enjoy my rest of my night because I have until Tuesday off. So thank you guys so much for watching. Remember to comment, rate, and subscribe for more videos similar to this one. See you guys later in another YouTube video. All the time. I'm live streaming. My bad.